Oracle Open World in Dublin, Bristol with TechCrunch, and we're talking to the CTO of Zynga, who just had a keynote with Michael Dell. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you had a lot of stats today, mainly on the amount of information and data that Zynga funnels through every day, every week. So you're moving about a petabyte a day, you're roughly adding 1,000 servers a week. That's a lot of information. That's information overload. So how do you stay ahead of your data storage needs?
Well, we don't add 1,000 servers every week. That's just maybe on a busy week. It's not that bad. But we try and do a lot of capacity planning. We obviously do a lot in order to work with both our data center as well as the public cloud when we're doing work with Amazon to figure out what we're going to need and when we're going to need it. Try and always have a little bit of extra capacity, more than we even think we could use.
How do your data storage needs today compare to, say, last year? I don't know if you can give us some numbers on the growth in traffic, the growth in the number of actual servers that you have.
We don't share our actual number of servers, but we have seen a many-fold increase in the last year.
Can you be a little bit more specific on that?
Not much more specific. We actually see, like I said, we've seen many-fold increase. It really is fairly proportional to our user base, but also our user base has gotten more and more active, and our applications and our games have become much more rich. So all those lead to more usage and more infrastructure.
Yeah. What percentage of users would you say hug up kind of the largest portion of computing resources? Like, do 10% of your top users account for like 70% of your data needs or so?
It's actually spread all over. Interestingly, the people that use the most resource are the people with the most friends. So we have these highly social people who visit and interact with other groups. So some of our power users in a game like Mafia Wars may have 5,000 or 8,000 friends in their Mafia. So we actually see those users being some of our most demanding users.
Gotcha. And as you guys grow and you need more and more servers, maybe 1,000 a week here, maybe a few months down the road, 2,000 or more or something a week, how are you trying to do it in an environmentally friendly way?
Well, we really, both from our use of the public cloud, where we're using big organizations like Amazon are helping us, but we also very much are looking at power consumption. It's one of the things we optimize for. We're very much trying to look at where we locate our data centers in regions where power is available. Yeah. So we're really trying to make good decisions on that front, as is the whole industry.
Yeah. And in terms of your data needs, how is this breaking down abroad? So I know that you guys recently made some major acquisitions, especially in China with XPD. So you guys are growing out, particularly in Asia. Where do you see a lot of this incoming traffic and data needs from?
Well, today we serve users from all over the world, and we'll continue to do that. And we actually have data centers now in multiple areas, not just in the West Coast and East Coast of the US, but internationally as well.
Yeah.
So we continue to expect that we'll probably expand globally as more and more of our users are global. I mean, we see these huge trends. I'd like to share one sort of funny story with you. Normally, it's actually kind of amazing, but users across the whole world play in fairly consistent patterns. And it really takes something momentous to change that. There are only a few things that have done it. The World Cup is one of those things, actually. We would see these W's in our graphs where the first half of the World Cup, there'd be a dip, and then people would come back at halftime, and then the second half of the World Cup, there'd be a dip. And if there was overtime, there'd be another dip at the end. But it really takes something that big in order to change how the traffic moves. So we don't really see huge variability in one area or the other. It's just uniform across the globe.
What kind of variability do you see between your games? Like, obviously Farmville and Mafia Wars is going to take up a lot of data. How does that break down?
Well, we see actually playing patterns that actually are different between different games. So some games have more users in the morning, have more users on the weekdays versus weekends. So we definitely see a fair amount of change on that front. But obviously the games are different. In games like Farmville, it's always very much your private interaction with your friends. In Mafia, it's a little bit more broadly social, where you can be fighting and interacting with other people in the game who you may not know. So they have different characteristics on that standpoint.
What is the most high traffic time for Farmville?
I don't know that off the top of my head. I would say it's sometime in the morning, but I don't know exactly when in the morning.
Where do you see your growth? What are the expectations internally with Zynga for what you're going to need, or anticipate what you're going to need for the next few months down the road or so?
Well, we have 3 billion neighbor connections, as I mentioned on stage. And we definitely are seeing our users become even more social. So they interact more and more with each other. And I think that just like e-commerce took a while to catch on, I think virtual goods and social gaming still have a lot of room in front of them. I think it's something where we're just at the very beginning and people are becoming more and more comfortable with socializing online, buying virtual goods, having an entertainment experience that continues. So I expect more and more richness and more social interaction.
Okay, so I have a final question. Facebook yesterday made several announcements on how they're going to change the way games work on Facebook. In particular, they talked about how updates and news feeds will change and be targeted towards the users of those specific games and not general users. How do you think that's going to affect Zynga?
Well, we still don't know how it's going to turn out. We actually are obviously going to be watching that closely over the next days and weeks. In concept, we really like the idea that people can interact with the people they want to interact with. And we actually have really liked the concept of narrowcasting, which says you're sharing really with your friends who are in the same experience as you.
Yeah.
With that said, I think one of the great things about Facebook is the ability to discover new things, so we'll have to see how it turns out.
Yeah. How important is news feeds to getting new users on Zynga's games?
Well, I mean, it's amazing the social word of mouth. I mean, at the end of the day, people will sometimes just talk to each other. Hey, I play Farmville. Oh, you play Farmville. So there are lots of ways that people connect. News feeds is one of them. Facebook is one of them. Even just side-by-side, iPhone is one of them. So there are lots of ways that we expect that all of them will change and evolve as users get more comfortable with it.